The late December frost blanketed the Redstone Plains, the 200-acre Texas ranch sprawling beneath a pale winter sky, the lake shimmering faintly in the distance. Its surface rippling with a cold breeze, wildflowers along the pasture's edge clinging to life in muted yellows and purples, their delicate forms trembling against the vast expanse. Ancient oaks standing tall, their gnarled branches heavy with history, the air sharp with the scent of frost and cedar, cattle lowing softly in the fields. Blending with the cry of a lone hawk circling above. John Parker, 54, stood in the western pasture, gaping at a picnic table plunked over his buried waterline. A happy 50th Mara banner flapping beside it, 50 strangers chowing down on barbecue on his land, Mara Evans hollering at him for crashing her party, the red barn glowing in the distance. A symbol of resilience after Carl's departure, the burn scar on his forearm throbbing, the wildflowers enduring despite the storms that had come before. John strode back to the gate, gave a sharp whistle, and let the wolves loose, legally, of course. The wolves part of a state-sanctioned breeding and conservation program on his ranch, permits, fences, signs all in order. But Mara, noticing anything beyond her own smug grin was a stretch too far. This wasn't her first stunt, just the boldest and dumbest, the lake glowing silver in the distance. It's come a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding. 3 years earlier, when Mara moved into the house down the hill, John had hoped she'd respect the rural ways of Redstone. But she brought the full spirit of her city life, wielding the Redstone Development Council, RDC, like a weapon, sizing up John's ranch and declaring it a stain on the community's vibe. Sending a typed letter suggesting he update the barn to match the modern homes, John tacking it to the barn door, vowing to ignore her until he couldn't. The wildflowers along the pasture trembling in the breeze, the plains stretching wide and unbroken, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Mara had ramped up slowly. RDC bulletins hinting at the unkempt state of nearby properties, then a drone buzzing the wolf sanctuary, John blasting it down, dumping it in the compost heap, but this day was her boldest move. John returning from a vet check for one of the wolves, parking by the west gate, spotting smoke, fearing a wildfire, only to find a full-blown cookout, tables, a bounce house. A man in boots passing out sodas like he owned the place. None of them did. Mara at the center, wearing a birthday boss sash, John gawking for a moment before marching up. What in the expired RDC handbook is this? Mara shooting him a look like he'd asked her to define boundaries, chirping, "Don't overreact, John. It's just a birthday bash. Plenty of room you're not using." The wildflowers near the waterline trembling in the chaos, the plains pulsing with unseen danger, their roots deep in the Texas soil. This wasn't a random corner of the ranch. It was the pasture over a critical waterline feeding the animals and part of the local aquifer. Mara's trucks rolled over it. A generator parked on the access hatch, guests trampling in boots and sneakers, spilling drinks, one kid jabbing a locked utility box with a fork, John's voice firm. "This is private property. You're trespassing. It's illegal. A safety risk. Gas cans 10 feet from my water system." Mara flicking a hand, a spoonful of coleslaw Madeira, scoffing. "Don't be a downer. This boosts morale. You never share this field." John snapping, "You've got 10 minutes to dismantle this circus and leave, or I'm calling animal control." Mara's eyebrow arching. "Animal control? What? Going to unleash a cow on me?" John turning, strolling to the gate, whistling low. Seconds later the wolves padding out, not charging, just ambling over, regal and curious. One sniffing the barbecue, locking eyes with Mara, the lake shimmering faintly, its calm a testament to the lesson coming, the wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Screams broke out, chairs toppled, a plate of cornbread hit the dirt, someone sprinting for the fence, Mara freezing, lips quivering, a kebab skewer dangling, a wolf rumbling. Not a roar. Just a hum, Mara bolting, tripping over a cooler, face planting in potato salad, the best John had felt in months, the crowd vanishing like spooked deer, a few griping they were invited. John telling them to hash it out with Mara and her RDC, calling Fish and Wildlife to double-check his status, still golden, offering trail cam clips of the trespass. The wildflowers near the pasture blackening in the chaos, the plains stretching wide and unbroken, their roots deep in the Texas soil. By dusk, it was just John the wolves. And stray party trash tumbling in the wind, John grabbing a wilted, "You're awesome" balloon, laughing until he slumped on the fence, his phone buzzing, a blocked number. Mara screeching about lawsuits and sheriffs. John hanging up mid-rant, knowing legality cut both ways. The lake glowing silver in the distance, its calm a beacon of the justice he'd deliver. The next morning, John woke to a drone humming over the porch, camera on, swooping low, scoping the ranch like a cheap thriller. John sipping coffee, watching it circle the wolf pen. One wolf casually marking a post like he was critiquing her tech. John filing an FAA complaint after her last drone fiasco. One more strike sparking real trouble. Mara waking up choosing war. John's inbox overflowing with forwarded threats, RDC gripes, a masterpiece claiming the wolves were a biohazard. John had sicked them on her, citing an RDC rule that didn't cover his acreage. John printing it, circling feral estate, filing it under lawsuit prep. The wildflowers along the house trembling in the breeze, the plains pulsing with unseen justice. Their roots deep in the Texas soil. John called the FAA, updating his case with her latest low-fly over restricted wolf turf, the agent chuckling, Mara on their nuisance list. John sending footage of her drone breaking rules in HD. The FAA launching a probe for repeat offenses, Mara's RDC newsletter dropping a safety alert, mapping the wolf area in red. Labeled hazard zone, like a sci-fi flick, urging kids indoors, avoiding the Wild West threat. John laughing until coffee hit the table, but animal control knocked days later. Two officers asking about community risks, John handing over permits, vet logs, and closure plans, the state deal, one sipping his coffee, muttering, "You're cleaner than most RDC folks." Mara claiming he ran an illicit zoo, staged a wolf attack, the officers leaving impressed, warning she'd try again. The lake shimmering faintly, its surface a mirror of the patience he wielded. She did. A cease and desist from the RDC's lawyer arriving, alleging ecological harm, mental distress, community disruption, calling the ranch an unregulated menace, John framing that line. Calling Lydia, his land use lawyer who'd once dismantled the county board, faxing the letter, Lydia calling back, "This is precious, let me at it," delivering a 15-page rebuttal to the RDC, precedents, maps, every code they breached, Mara going silent for a day, then the drone returning, John ready, shotgun in hand, downing it with one blast, it crashing in sparks, bagging it, driving it to Sheriff Daniels with FA rules, the deputy grinning, "She's toast." The wildflowers along the wolf pen trembling in the breeze, the plains stretching wide and unbroken, their roots deep in the Texas soil. That night, an RDC newbie, Tim, showed up nervous with minutes from their last meeting, off record, "I didn't back this, she's got the board spooked." Mara pitching a hostile takeover by John, proposing a patrol to monitor his fence like a militia with flashlights, John thanking him, giving him a soda, watching the wolves settle under the stars. Mara thinking noise won battles, John preferring quiet force, a lawsuit delivered to every RDC board member as the FAA tightened its grip, the lake glowing silver in the distance. It's come a testament to the fight ahead. After the drone takedown, Mara faded, no rants, no flyers for a week, John knowing she wasn't done, just scheming, signs popping up along her road. Watch active, report suspicious activity, caution, animal risk, the wolves as nuclear threats, then the patrol, 3 in vests, clipboards in hand, pacing his border, peering over. John watching with coffee, one shouting, "Are your wolves secure?" John yelling back, "More legal than your RDC," the man scribbling, fleeing, the wildflowers along the fence trembling in the breeze. The plains pulsing with unseen danger, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Mara went social, hosting safety talks, painting John as a wolf-wielding recluse, a feed store clerk slipping him a flyer. Wildlife dangers next door, begging for a reckoning. Lydia firing off a defamation cease and desist. But John had more cooking, Mara holding a rally at the RDC line, tables. Banners screaming "Save our homes," a megaphone blaring skewed wolf stats, neighbors nodding, a woman waving a petition to banish the wolves, Mara spotting John by the fence, bellowing, "He's a menace to your kids," and calm, someone gasping, a dog barking, John digging a trench along his RDC border, new fence electrified, double-gated, signs reading State Wildlife Zone, no entry. Legal, inspected, daunting, the lake shimmering faintly, its calm a beacon of the justice coming, the wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. John tipped a reporter friend, Elena, who aired Rancher bolsters sanctuary amid RDC clash, wolves lazing, experts praising. It hit TV post-rally. Mara raging in a memo, accusing media tricks, her board balking, residents apologizing. Some asking to help the preserve, John taking the sincere ones, an officer arriving, Mara's complaint, underfed, loose wolves, John showing everything, healthy wolves, tight setup, the officer nodding. Warning, she's plotting at City Hall, her last gasp, a planning commission bid to rezone John's land as a commercial hazard, the hearing looming, her gripes, predator intimidation, value drops. Dusk wolf trauma. Poetry not law. Lydia gleaming, binder bulging, the wildflowers along the house trembling in the breeze, the plains stretching wide and unbroken, their roots deep in the Texas soil. They arrived early, Mara strutting in, photos of wolves doing nothing, smile unhinged, rambling, fearing a wolf, really a coyote, at her window. John's assault at her party, omitting her trespass, Lydia countering, permits, laws, dismissed complaints, FAA woes, Elena's clip, then the trump card, Mara's unreported RDC gifts. Spa trips as retreats, decor as community costs, Lydia sliding proof to the commission, we'll take this to ethics or the DA if she persists, Mara floundering, a commissioner shutting her down. No basis against the preserve, case closed. Mara quitting the RDC, calling it a stand against tyranny, no one caring, most cheering, her final act a baseless motion to claim John's land. Fizzling. John hitting back, Lydia warning of suits, John getting his land zoned as a protected conservation area, tax perks, ironclad shields, the lake glowing silver in the distance. It's come a testament to the justice served, the wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. 2 months later, a blurry drone shot arrived. You'll slip, John whistling. The wolves perking up, she's lost, Mara banned from drones, RDC rolls void, the ranch standing free, wolves safe, Mara done for, the crew gathering in the yard, coffee steaming. The air thick with roasted beans and hay, Ethan slouched in a chair, his face steady, trust forged in the ranch's fire, the map spread across the table, the wolf pin marked in green ink. A testament to the day's victory, the lantern light casting shadows, the lake glowing gold as dusk faded, the plains stretching wide, wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Wolves spoke, Frank said, leaning back, his pistol gleaming, his voice sure. You answered, Grayson won't like this. Mary Ellen poured coffee, her hand firm, her voice edged. Justice is a sign. Your roots are a wall, John. We'll stand. Jake grinned, fists unclenching, dust on his face. You stopped her, Ethan too. He's fierce now. Sarah nodded. Her phone glowing with Elena's update. Stories out, sanctuary's safe. We'll keep it. Matt tapped his laptop, fingers pausing, meeting John's gaze. Grayson's moving saw the zoning. I'll dig, won't stop. Tom stood by the door, lantern dimming, his frame a pillar. I'll watch the ridge, plains are calm, but eyes ain't. John met Ethan's gaze, the boy's eyes steady. His hands firm from the day's work, John's voice cutting through. You stood today, fought like a Parker. That's good, keep it up, Ethan. The win's just the start, we've got more coming. Ethan nodded slow, his voice raw. I will, Grandpa, swear it. No more trespassing. The room fell silent, the lake glowing silver as night deepened, the plains stretching wide, wildflowers enduring. Their roots deep in the Texas soil. John stepped onto the porch, rifle close, the air smelling of earth and renewal, his eyes scanning the ridge where the wolves had held. The legacy of his land a bond he'd carry, across the horizon, a light blinking binoculars catching starlight, then vanishing, a shadow still breathing, a reminder the fight was far from over. The wildflowers along the plains blooming anew, their colors vibrant in the Texas night, the lake glowing silver, its calm a testament to the justice John had won. But the storm on the horizon a promise of battles yet to come.